Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjanan Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Narayanam Gurum Vande Sharanyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramanu Purnam Radha Dasyam Pradayakam Rupanugacharya Varyamburupa Manjari Preshtakam Patita Pavana Bandhavam Yugacharya Narayan Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Twise Namaha Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Ismirahas Murli Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripanide Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vrindai Tulasi Devyai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramu 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I begin offering my most humble obeisances to the dust of the lotus feet of Paramaradatama Sri Guru Pada Padma Nitrila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Paribrajikacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudeva, and to my most worshipable Shikshan Sannyasa Guru Nitrila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Paribrajikacharya Ashtotara Sata Srimad Shila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to all Shirupanu Gauriya Guru Varga, all Tridandi Sannyasis, Brahmacharis, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and to all the assembled devotees here today, my most respectful obeisances. So by the causeless mercy of Srila Gurudeva and all Mahabhagavatas Acharyas, we are able to assemble here one more time to continue reading from Sri Raya Ramananda Samvada, the conversation between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Raya Ramananda. So, Mangala Charan. Sanchariram Abhida Bhakta Mege Swabhakti Siddhanta Chayamritani Gaurad Bir Eter Amunna Vitrines Tadgyatva Ratnalayatam Prayati. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is a boundless nectarian ocean of the established conclusions of devotion, Bhakti Siddhantas. And his devotee, Sri Ramananda Rai, is the cloud whom he filled with these conclusions about devotion to him. When Mahaprabhu experienced the rain of Bhakti Tattvas that the Ramananda cloud showered upon him, he was transformed into an ocean of jewels. You know, there is this special rain which comes from that Swasti Nakshatra, which produces the pearls in the ocean, right? So, and here the hidden meaning is that Mahaprabhu is actually speaking through Ramananda, right? And giving to himself the possibility to hear all these things, but from the mouth of a devotee, which makes that more relishable, just like Shukadeva Goswami, when he speaks Bhagavatam, it's more relishable than when Vyasadeva spoke, because Vyasadeva, he is an expansion of Krishna. He's in the side of of Vishai Jatiya. But Chukadeva, he is in the side of Ashray Jatiya. He's in the side of a devotees. Therefore, everyone sits to hear Shukadeva Goswami, not Vyasadeva. Although Vyas is the source and the one who manifested the Vedas in this world, it's not most relishable. Therefore, Lord Shiva, even he said, Aham vedmi shukaveti vyasaveti naveti va. I know the meaning of Veda, of Bhagavatam. Shukadeva also knows. But if Vyasa knows or not, it's not clear. It isn't sure if Vyasa he understood or not, because he's avatar of Krishna. He's directly expansion of Krishna. So he's the object of service somehow. He's not the Sevaka. So in same way, Mahaprabhu, he is relishing all these truths which he knows, which he is inspiring. But from the mouth of Ramananda Rai, they come in a different way. Mahaprabhu is relishing that. And this is very beautiful. So Srila Gurudeva, he gives his pranam to his Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and to, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, etc., as his Mangalacharan. And then he starts. Millions and millions of times, I reverently place my head at the lotus feet of my most venerable holy master, Om Vishnupada Ashtottara Sat, Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Goswami Maharaj. Only by his causeless mercy and inspiration has a person as fallen as I am being able to write this vivriti or commentary on the discussion between Sri Ramananda Rai and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I also repeatedly offer my obeisances to the spotlessly pure, transcendental lotus feet of the universal preceptor, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and to the lotus feet of Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is the Bhagirata of Bhakti Bhagirati, the Ganges river of pure devotional service. He is addressed thus because just as Bhagirata Maharaj unshared the descent of the river Ganges to this world, Bhaktivinoda restored the flow of the Ganges river of pure devotional service, as inaugurated by Sriman Mahaprabhu. Thus, Bhaktivinoda's feet bestow pure devotion. Both these great personalities have manifested the very deep confidential essence of the Sri Ramananda Rai Samvada through their respective commentaries on the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, namely Anubhasya and Amrita Pravaha. Means Anubhasya from Srila Prabhupada, Amrita Pravaha Bhasya from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I surrendered myself in turn at the lotus feet of Sri Ramananda Rai, who is Vishaka Sakhi in the pastimes of Braj, and who expanded the ocean of rasa, transcendental mellows, by the mercy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Finally, while holding in my heart Sri Sachinandana Gaur Hari, who is Sri Krishna covered by the complexion and sentiments of Srimati Radhika, I begin to write this vivriti on Sri Ramananda Samvada. So, Sancharya means infusing. It's common knowledge that water evaporates from the ocean by the heat of the sun. The resultant vapor, having been purified of the ocean's salty nature, transforms into a cloud. When this cloud passes over a forest or collides into a mountain, the same water falls as rain and again returns to the ocean, to the rivers. Should that rain fall at the time of the Swati constellation, Nakshatra, the oysters in the ocean, accepting this rainwater, produce pearls. The ocean, now filled with precious stones, becomes known as the abode of jewels, Ratnakara. With this metaphor, the author conveys that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the ocean of the jewels of Bhakti Siddhanta, and Sri Raya Ramananda is the rain cloud filled with ambrosia. This Mahaprabhu, who is the unlimited ocean of the truths about Bhakti, has covertly infused the heart of Sri Ramananda Rai with the vapor of the nectarian flow of mellows in servitorship, dasya, friendship, sakya, parenthood, vatsalya, and conjugal relationship, madhuraras. This incomparable flow of the nectar rain into the oysters of Mahaprabhu's ears, where they transform into precious jewels of Siddhantas, which the Lord drank. Thus he became the ocean laden with the jewels of Bhakti Siddhanta. This meaning emanates directly from Sri Ramananda Rai himself. So let us understand how this metaphor was presented clearly. What Mahaprabhu gave to Ramananda Rai? The vapor, because Mahaprabhu is the ocean of rasa. So by that evaporation, that came to the clouds of Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai again, he showered that on Mahaprabhu. And then Mahaprabhu, like his ear, drinking that nectar in form of cloud, in form of rain, produced this pearl. Mahaprabhu's ear is like oyster. And there this jewel was produced. Because Mahaprabhu himself is the ocean. So again, this water is returning to ocean. And then he's comparing Mahaprabhu's ear stood like the oyster. Very beautiful. Shri Ramananda Rai spoke the following essential statement. Eta tattva more chite koile prakashan, brahma ke vedda jena parailo narayan, antaryam ishwarera eiriti hoy, bahire na kohe vastu prakash hridoy. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 8.263 and 64. You have manifested all these transcendental truths in my heart, just as Narayana educated Lord Brahma. The Supreme Lord, dwelling within everyone's heart, speaks not externally, but from within. And in this way, he gives instruction. So Ramananda Rai, he says, Mahaprabhu, as Paramatma, inspired him to speak everything. Now the next line is Ramabhida Bhakta Mege. So Srila Gurudeva, he's analyzing that verse, which we read in the very beginning, okay, of the Mangalacharana. He's taking now line by line of that verse. Word by word. So the first was Sancharya. Now the second is Ramabhida Bhakta Mege. The crown jewel of Rasikas, Sri Ramananda Rai, is the eternal associate of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who is the unfathomable ambrosial ocean of Bhakti Siddhanta. This cloud-like devotee known as Ram is supremely enchanting, desirable, alluring, and delectable. The choice of the active bhakta in this verse signifies that it is only in the hearts of devotees that the truths about devotion can manifest. No one else has the ability to bear the power that comes from these truths. Sriman Ramananda Rai is that devotee cloud who can carry the weight of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's own Bhakti Siddhanta and then distribute it to others as rainfall. After this shower of devotion was collected by the ocean of devotional sentiments in that devotee's heart, this rain of devotion bestowed an even more astonishing, indescribable taste for Mahaprabhu to experience. So why Mahaprabhu is able to relish that so easily and nicely? Because he's in the mood of Radha. Radha is a devotee. She can relish that very well. Therefore, he is able to relish that very nicely. Next line is Swabhakti Siddhanta Chayamritani, the nectarian collection of truths about the devotional service relating to himself. So he was hearing about himself, none other. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vatirna kalau samarpaitu munatto jalarasam swa bhakti shriyam. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 1.4. May the son of Srimati Shakti Devi, Shri Gaur Hari, forever manifest spontaneously within the innermost core of your heart. Adorned with the radiant splendor of molten gold, he has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow upon the world that which has not been given for a long time. The beauty of his own brilliantly radiant Ujjala Prema Rasa Bhakti, service in the highest mellow of amorous love. In this verse, the word Swabhakti refers to the supremely nectarian service performed in Swarasiki Upasana under the guidance of the Manjaris. What is the meaning of Swarasiki Upasana? The pastimes of Shri Krishna performed in various places of Goloka Vrindavan are of many types. Therefore, the worship that is performed through the limbs of bhakti, such as remembering, hearing, and chanting about those pastimes, which flow one after another, is called Swarasiki Upasana. Swarasiki Upasana is for those who are in a very advanced level. When this unbroken chain of pastimes appear in their hearts spontaneously. And on the contrary, we have Mantramaya Upasana. That is the voluntary or the, programmed meditation on those pastimes. You are going to force yourself to meditate and to remember those pastimes. Sometimes they come in your mind, sometimes they not. They always being obstructed by different thoughts, So this is the beginning stage. As everyone begins, we have to force ourselves to meditate on those pastimes. We have to force ourselves to remember. We have to force ourselves to chant, force to hear. And as soon as we start doing, we feel great. Oh, I like it. It's very nice. But as soon as we stop, we get a little distance from that practice. Again, we are taken by so many material, things, and we lose connection, and it's difficult again to come back. I used to give the example of the child who has to go to bath. He cries so much, he does not want to go to bath, because going to bath means stopping what he's playing now, what he's doing now. But as soon as he gets inside the bath, he does not want to come out. So in the same way, when we are in Anishtita Bhakti, in the unstable stage of Bhakti, means ups and downs, we are like this child. We don't want to practice, we don't want to hear, we don't want to chant, but as soon as we start, we don't want to stop. But somehow or other, we will be forced again to stop. And then we lose some connection, and then it is hard again to catch up. So therefore, what is the advice here? Always be in touch, always be practicing. Don't leave the gap become too big between your practices. Keep it very, very means connected, short. Then you can always keep up with the taste and with the feeling that, oh, this is what I need, this is what I want, and this is relishable. This is very much important. Don't leave the gap becomes too big, too wide between the practices. So in this way, this is what happens when you go to live in ashram as a new brahmachari. They will keep you busy minute after minute. They will not leave you to sit for 5 minutes. They know Maya comes in between very easy and distracts. So they will be ordering you, do this, do this, do this. Then you'll be the whole day, busy, engaged. And then it produces a very, very good result. And after a long time forcing yourself in that situation, things becomes natural, as it comes to your, comes to your behavior, naturally. So in this way, we have to always try to be like that. So coming back to our point. So here, Gurudev is explaining that this verse, Anarpitacharinchirat, is presenting that this Swabhakti refers to this service performed in Swarasiki Upasana under the guidance of the Manjaris. Means the service is that you are constantly serving those pastimes. Those pastimes are manifest in your heart spontaneously and continuously under the guidance of the Manjaris. Only this is the Jiva's topmost goal. Before the advent of Sriman Mahaprabhu, no one had manifested this for the sadhakas since a long, long time. So, but another important point here is that how this Manjari Bhav is being shown in this verse. So Srila Gurudeva, he explains, although in the general translation, as we see here, it's not there. But Srila Gurudeva, in many lectures, he explains that it comes from the word Shriyam. That Shriyam means Manjari Bhav. That Shri is the beauty of that creeper, of that Bhakti creeper. And that is the Manjari. So this Swabhakti Shriyam means the intimate Palyadasis, maid servants of Srimati Radhika. We want to do service under their guidance, and especially under the guidance of Rupa Manjari. So this word Shri is also related to Rupa Manjari. Why? Because Shri means beauty, and beauty is in the form, and form means Rupa. So especially what Mahaprabhu is giving us is the possibility to serve under the guidance of Rupa Manjari. Because Mahaprabhu, he's giving that. He's giving Rupa Anuga. He's not giving any other Anuga. He's only giving Rupa Anuga. So that is, what to say, hidden also there. So let us continue reading here. In regard to the execution of this Manjari Seva, Srimati Radhika becomes the object of her maidservant's permanent ecstatic emotion, Sthai Bhava, and Shri Krishna becomes the object of the maidservant's transitory emotion that nourishes this Sthai Bhava. This is then called the Sanchari Bhava. In this verse, the Manjaris lovingly tend to Shri Krishna because he is the love of Radha's life and gives her happiness. Thus, this Swabhakti Siddhanta, sweet as nectar, is the philosophical understanding embodied in the followers of Shri Rupa Goswami, who established the Raganuga Rupanuga Siddhanta. This is the essence and the foundation of the ultimate expression of love. Before I comment, Gurudeva, he puts a footnote for Raganuga. So he says, spontaneous devotional service, which follows in the footsteps of the perfected souls, Ragatmikas. And Rupanuga, that Rupanuga Bhakti, that specifically follows the moods of Srila Rupa Goswami or Shri Rupa Manjari. But Rupa Goswami in the sense that he's teaching the sadhakas. He's in the sadhaka sharir. Seva sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena chatrihi. Tadbhava lipsuna karnya brajaloka anusarata. Means we are not under guidance of Rupa Manjari. We want to be under guidance of Rupa Manjari. Right now we are under guidance of Rupa Goswami Pad. Because he's showing the way to practice, how we should practice. So therefore this Rupa Anuga refers specifically to Rupa Goswami with extension to Rupa Manjari, but in the perfected stage, not in the sadhaka stage. So now let us come, this paragraph is very deep. Many things are here. So mostly what Srila Gurudev is saying is that that Srimati Radhika, she becomes the object of the Manjari service. Means this maid servant's permanent ecstatic emotion, sthai bhav, means that is their, what to say, fixed swarupa. They are palyadasis of Radhika. That is fixed. That is fixed in Madhurya Ras. And Shri Krishna becomes the object of the maid servant's transitory, means sanchari bhavas. Means they also tend to serve Krishna, sometimes transitory. Because Krishna is somehow related to Srimati Radhika, he's the beloved of Radhika, and he's there. But they are fixed in service of Radha, not in service of Krishna. Okay, this is the comparison made here. Sthai means they are fixed in Radhika. And Sanchari, they are transitory to Krishna. Sometimes they will serve Krishna, but they are not fixed to Krishna. Fixed to Krishna means the Sakhis, Lalita, Vishakha, and others. Okay? So, in this way, this is Swabhakti Siddhanta. This can be embodied in the followers of Rupa Goswami. So let us continue. Pure devotion or bhakti is always supremely relishable because it is joyful by nature. The possessor of this bhakti, which culminates in Mahabhav, is Sriman Mahaprabhu himself. The ocean of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu contains no trace of saltiness. Rather, it is full of ambrosial devotional mellows, or rasa. We can translate as like a syrup, you know, syrup, very thick, sweet liquid. This is called rasa. Rasa is like a syrup, very thick and nice, sweet type of liquid, which makes everything else much more tasteful. So this is called rasa. When you go to India and you when you go to take prasadam, one of the preparations is called rasa, because it's the liquid subject, the thick liquid subject, in opposition to the dry one, which is called lapra or shukta. There are two types of dry subject. So an ocean such as he has no deficiency is completely in every respect and is free from dangerous creatures such as sharks and crocodiles, meaning fruitive action, karma, ritualistic worship, and empirical speculative knowledge, jnana. This ocean, filled with unending varieties of nectar, is most attractive to the heart. There are no huge, treacherous, and deafening waves. Instead, there are gently billowing waves of meeting and separation, samyoga and viyoga, in which both Bhagavan and the devotee remain blissfully submerged. The next line. Gaurad vir eter amuna vittirne. Gaurabdi means the Gaura ocean, the ocean of Gaura. Shri Krishna, who is Akila Rasamrita Sindhu, the complete ocean of nectarian flavors, is Gaurabdi, the golden ocean. The word Amuna means by him as in the sense of distributed to or rained upon by the cloud named Ramananda. Thus, the import is that Sriman Mahaprabhu impelled the Ramananda cloud to rain the ambrosial conclusions of his own bhakti upon the ocean of his own self. These Siddhantas imperceptibly appeared in Ramananda Raya's heart, and he in turn revealed them to Mahaprabhu. Then Mahaprabhu again relished the mercy which he had imperceptibly bestowed upon Sri Ramananda Raya, and he accepted these jewels of devotion or Bhakti Ratnas. In Sri Bhagavad Gita 18:55, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Bhaktyamam abhijanati. I'm only understood by pure devotion. Therefore, for the welfare of the entire world, Mahaprabhu posed questions, and Ramananda Raya answered him. This is just like a type of revival of Kurukshetra, but in a much better way, in a much sweeter way, because in Kurukshetra, Arjuna, he's also posing many things to Krishna, many questions, many dilemmas, many type of reflections, and Krishna is showering also lots of instructions. But at that point, Krishna himself is giving the instructions. But now, in the bank of Godavari, Krishna wants to hear the instructions. He wants to hear from the devotee. And so he's just also putting the devotee there again to make things to come out. Just like we compare Arjuna to the calf. Arjuna is the calf and Krishna is the cow. And the cow only gives milk if the calf is present there. So the devotee must be there, present, and then Krishna he is giving. So next one. Taj gyatva ratnalayatam prayati. The knowledge of this Bhakti Siddhanta has been referred to here as Ratna, or precious jewel. When these devotional conclusions are soaked in Bhakti Ras and enter the ears of a single-pointed devotee, he becomes like an ocean of jewels. Mahaprabhu inspired the heart of Sri Ramananda Raya. Srimad Mahaprabhu then personally listened in order to establish the topmost example, and thus encouraged in others also an eagerness to hear. Those jewels have now appeared in the form of this book, which presents the crest jewel of all spiritual perfections. Srimad Mahaprabhu already knew every aspect of Bhakti Siddhanta in full. If this were not so, how could he have empowered the heart of Sri Ramananda Raya with all devotional conclusions? Then the question naturally arises, how was it that the Lord gained knowledge of Siddhanta by hearing from the lotus mouth of Sri Ramananda Raya? What is the meaning of this? If Mahaprabhu is already the source of knowledge, how he can gain new knowledge? So this is the question. The answer is that previously Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's knowledge had simply been jnana or theory. But after hearing from Sri Ramananda Raya, that knowledge became vijnana, realized knowledge. Jnana and vijnana are not the same thing. Here, jnana refers to ordinary knowledge, whereas vijnana entails a special knowledge, which is full of realization. Bhagavan Shri Krishna said to Lord Brahma, Jnanam parama guhyam me yad vijnana samamvitam sarahasyam tadangam cha grihana gaditam maya. Srimad Bhagavatam 2:9-30. Krishna says, O Brahma, knowledge concerning me is absolute, non-dual, advaya, and supremely confidential. Even though it is without differentiation, it is eternally divided into 4 categories. Jnana means theoretical knowledge, vijnana, realized knowledge, rahasya, confidential knowledge, and tadanga means concomitant parts of that knowledge, or the limbs of devotion. By your intelligence as a jiva, you cannot understand this. By my mercy, now realize it. Jnana is my swarupa, original form or essential identity. Vijnana is the knowledge pertaining to bhakti to me. My rahasya or secret knowledge is the minute jiva. Pradhana, the unmanifested modes of material nature in its original and undifferentiated state, is my jnananga or limb of jnana or knowledge. The eternal non-duality and confidential differences of these four tattvas are all transformations of my potency, which is simultaneously one with and different from me. Achincha Beda Beda Shakti. So here Jnana indicates Krishna Tattva. Vijnana denotes Radha Tattva. Rahasya signifies the Prema Tattva. And Tadanga means Tattva of Srimati Radha and Shri Krishna's loving pastimes, means Vilas. Very interesting, huh? Now Gurudeva, he's giving very nice explanation, very much clear, because if you just read the directly translation of the verse, you can't come to this conclusion. But now Gurudeva, he puts everything very nicely clear. Jnana means just Krishna Tattva, means basic Tattva. Big Jnana now, it means Radha Tattva. Rahasya means Prema Tattva. And Tadanga means the loving pastimes between Radha and Krishna. Recently, I think it was just yesterday or so, they have released this Gurudev's new audio, restored audio, and Gurudev is saying, don't rely upon reading only. Don't think reading is enough, because everything is locked. Don't think that you're going to take Srimad Bhagavatam, read and become like Paramahamsa. It's not possible. You have to hear from the realized soul. What is the meaning of that? And this is what Srila Gurudev is giving us here. Because the scriptures are locked up. Even the big Panditas of Mathura and Vrindavan, they know Sanskrit from childhood. They are Trivedis, means they know three Vedas by heart. They are Chaturvedis, they know the four Vedas by heart. They are such Panditas, such like scholars, erudites, but still they had to come to Gurudev for clarification. Why? Because the scriptures are locked. And only those who have realization, those who are Rasika Bhaktas, they have the key to open up. And Srila Gurudeva, he instructed these greatest scholars of Mathura and Vrindavan. It's unbelievable. Why? Because Gurudeva has this key. So in the same way he's giving us here. So it's much better we read Gurudev's book, which has Gurudev's purport, than to take directly from Chaitanya Charitamrita and read the Ramananda Samvada there. How much can we take out of that, reading directly from Chaitanya Charitamrita? Not much. But here, how much Gurudev is clarifying and giving us the proper understanding of all these Tattva Siddhanta. So, continue here. One can obtain Bhagavan Shri Krishna, who is Achincha Beda Beda Tattva, means simultaneously one with and different from his own multifarious energies, only by the process of sadhana bhakti. Knowledge that we grasp by hearing from another is called jnana, which when realized in the heart, it is called vijnana. It was vijnana that Sriman Mahaprabhu obtained from Sri Ramananda Raya. So this is the answer of that question. How Mahaprabhu can learn something from Ramananda Raya if Mahaprabhu is giving himself that knowledge? Because that knowledge is not only information anymore. It has Ramananda Raya's realizations. It has his mood, has applicability, has rasa, has flavor in that. So you can take knowledge by itself, but when it passes through some devotee, it's going to capture the flavor of that devotee, the mood of that devotee. It's coming out in that shape, that new shape. And there are different types of devotees in 5 different rasas. Ramananda Raya is in the topmost, is Vishaka Devi. So when that same knowledge is coming through the filter of Ramananda Raya, it brings out very, very relishable taste with his realization, with his vijnana. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he is Vishai, the enjoyer or object of bhakti. He's not the ashray, the abode of bhakti. He's completely unaware of the feelings aroused in the heart of the sadhaka by his devotional service to him. I'm going to repeat that. He is completely unaware of the feelings aroused in the heart of the sadhaka by his devotional service to him. So Krishna, he cannot understand how we feel bhakti towards him. The devotee serves him in one of the 4 relationships, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. Thus, Shri Krishna is the Vishai, or object of devotion of all the various Ashray Jatiya devotees, those who are the shelters or receptacles of divine love. Shri Krishna does not have the loving sentiments of the devotees, who the receptacles of divine love, who are the receptacles of divine love. He cannot taste the supreme, indescribable happiness that Srimati Radhika feels when she sees him, his enchanting form. How is it possible for Shri Krishna to experience the state of happiness that Srimati Radhika reaches in the stage of Raga and Anuraga, and especially in the stage of Madanakya Mahabhava? So Gurudev, he puts a footnote for all these terms. The Raga. When Sneha or deep affection is imbued with intense longing, it is known as Raga. When the appearance of Raga, even a moment of separation is intolerable. And at a time, even distress seems to be happiness. When Raga always experiences its object in ever fresh ways, then it is called Anuraga. The supreme state of exaltation in which all the various stages of prema, from Rati to Mahabhava, are manifest simultaneously in the most radiant form, it is called Madanakya Mahabhava. Krishna wanted to know, what are the glories of Sri Radha's pranaya, Radha's love? What type of happiness does she experience in loving service to me? How does she taste the nectar of my sweetness? To fulfill these desires, Shri Krishna accepted her mood and complexion, and coming as the ashray, the shelter or receptacle of the divine love, he appeared in this world as Sri Gaura Sundar. He infused the heart of Sri Ramananda Rai with the conclusions of his own bhakti rasa, the ambrosia of devotion. Shri Radhaya pranaya mahima kidrishova nayeva, swadhyana bhutta madhurima kidrishova madhya, saukanchas samadanu bhavatam kidrisham vetiloba, tad bhavadya samajani chachigarva sindhu harindu. Adilila 4:230. It is only by the influence of his mercy potency, Kripa Shakti, that the Lord's desire could be fulfilled. Shri Brihad Bhagavatamritam, it is told how Shri Gopakumar bestowed realization of ecstatic love upon his disciple in the same manner. He simply placed his lotus hand on the head of his disciple, who then realized everything. This example illuminates a secret. Should the jiva wish to receive the ecstasy of the fundamental truths regarding Bhagavan, he should hear only from the devotee who possesses such realization. The pastimes of Sri Hari are naturally stored only in the heart of such a devotee. Such narrations, full of transcendental knowledge and bliss, cause the listeners to also relish them. Hmm. So this is the end of the Mangalacharan of Srila Gurudev. Hmm. And next, it starts with the meeting between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda, right? And we are going to stop here and continue the next time. Hare Krishna.